Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Awards Addicts. I'm Tristan.
I'm Kyle.
And we are going to do our first movie review. This is probably something that we're going to do a lot more of as the season progresses and more films come out that Kyle and I are interested in dissecting and talking about. But one very big movie has come out, hit theaters finally, and it's James Gunn's Superman. And we thought that we would do a quick deep dive into that film and talk about our thoughts on the film and whether or not we think it deserves the hype it's gotten.
Yes, this is going to be a fun conversation. I'm excited to talk to Tristan about this. I think we have similar thoughts. I know briefly what Tristan thinks about the movie, so it should be a good conversation. But I guess the first question would be, Tristan, how do you feel about David Cornsweet as Superman?
I think so. I didn't know anything about David Cornsweet before this film. I had never seen him. I mean, I guess I watched the Netflix
Twisters.
show Hollywood, which he's in. And then, so I have seen him before. He was the lead of that. But I didn't really remember him. And then Twisters he was in. So I wasn't familiar with his game. And I wasn't sure whether or not he was going to be able to play this iconic character and if he was a full-fledged movie star. And the thing with the last Superman, Henry Cavill, I don't think he's a very good actor. But I do think because his look suits Superman, I thought he was serviceable and did a pretty good job. And really, that's the only movie I've really liked Henry Cavill in, to be honest. This guy, though, David Cornsweet, I think is really good as Superman and is a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I would say he's one of the stronger performances in the film. I think he carries the film pretty strong on his back. He understands the assignment.
Yeah.
But where it struggles is that the assignment's just totally messy. It's like when your teacher assigns you a group project and everyone wants their hands on it and you're like committed to it, but like it doesn't really work out and then you end up getting a C. That's what this movie is. It's a really, really messy movie. That's what I found it to be, at least. And I was quite disappointed with it. I went in really wanting to love it. I really did. And, I want to preface this review by saying I think this is a me issue, not a movie issue. I wonder if I just have preconceived notions about what a Superman movie should be.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that I just wanted Richard Donner's Superman. I watched it a little bit prior to this movie, just rewatched the movie just on my own will, and it's just so solid. It's so tight. It works so well. And at the end of the day, I want to see my Superman save a cat from a tree and not be in this jumbled mess of a movie where it's like, you said the word ADHD off camera when we were talking about it, but I don't need to see Superman being in this, like, being sucked in a black hole, trying to save someone, and Mr. Terrific is there, and Crypto's there, and all this noise is happening, and there's 20 goons. It's just a lot going on, and it just lacks the simplicity that I want.
Yeah, I think that chaotic nature that James Gunn brings to the Guardians films really works with Guardians because those films are set in space. You've got a talking tree, a talking raccoon, these crazy eccentric characters. The Guardians movies are kind of a comedy too. And it's this mishmash of all of these ideas, and you have a big ensemble piece, right? But with Superman, I agree with your sentiment where you're talking about you have a preconceived notion of what Superman should be. And I do too. I think the film should have relied more on Superman. And I think that James Gunn should have given more responsibility to David Cornsweet. It almost felt like they cast Cornsweet, who's kind of an unproven entity at this point before Superman, and thought, you know what, he needs some help. let's throw in all of these other characters and take the spotlight away from him a little bit, so he doesn't have to carry this entire movie on his back. But I think he's, at least from what I saw here, I think he's capable of doing that. I think he would have done a great job if this were more centered on him. And I really wish it was, because he is so dedicated to this role. I think he delivers a really human Superman, someone who you could really root for, who's just like the epitome of good. And I think he has great chemistry with
Brosnan.
Yeah, who I've been a big fan of for a while, because I love The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And she's just so great as Lois Lane. She's got that quippy energy, and she works really well with David Cornsweet. I loved her casting. And I thought, I love Nicholas Hoult. I'm a huge fan of him. I thought he was great as Lex Luthor. I really liked that Lex was just this, spoiled, arrogant, and very insecure billionaire. I thought that was a nice play on what's going on in the world right now. And I never felt it was too obvious. I felt like he just played it the perfect amount. I agree the script is too obvious, but I don't think Holt ever crossed the line.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot that I want to touch on there, because you mentioned a lot of things. Starting with David Cornsweet, I want to say, I do think part of the issue is that I don't know how well balanced the material is. I think what I wanted more of was a dichotomy between Clark and Superman in this movie. It almost feels like they're a little confused, that they really blend them in together. Yeah. What I really love about, once again, I'm going to invoke the 1978 Richard Donner Superman, is the dichotomy between Clark and Superman is just so clear. They're just two different entities. Clark is completely different in tone and style and mannerisms. There's like maybe 2 or 3 Clark scenes in this entire movie. Almost the entire movie, he's completely on. As Superman is.
I did
kind
not
of frustrating.
Like that.
It's extremely frustrating. And I love the chemistry. The chemistry between him and Lois are great. But yeah, it almost feels like a lot of side characters are like default to gags. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but like Mom and Pa Kent are like basically like geriatric boomers, and that really bothered me. Jimmy Olsen does not do anything really. He's like actually kind of the foil of the plot, but like when I say do anything, I mean there's nothing there that really for me to grasp onto. He's just a gag.
I like Skylar Gisondo usually, and I thought he was fun.
He's so good in Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, and I thought he was fun in this role in a nutshell, but I don't think if you take it and apply it to the broader film, I don't think we needed that. I would have preferred we focus more on Clark and on his relationship with Lois and Lex. That should have been the central focus, and it just feels like it's trying to get its arms around way too much, and James Gunn is applying that ensemble piece that he loved so much with the Suicide Squad and Guardians to this, which is supposed to be much more focused and much more grounded than his other films.
There's nothing I find more frustrating than having truly who I consider to be one of the great American actors, Wendell Pierce, in these superhero movies. Like in Thunderbolts and in this movie, he's doing nothing. And Wendell Pierce, it seems like he's being super underutilized. I think he's just getting like a cash grab. He just wants the money. But he's one of the great American actors. Why are we using Wendell Pierce like this? It's very, very annoying to me. The side characters are just a mess in this movie. The film looks so ugly. Like all the fights are dull. I hated that it ended with like an Ultraman fight scene. This is a spoiler review, guys. I'm so sorry. But I hated the third act fight. That was just basically, honestly, part of my criticisms of this movie are similar to my criticism of Man of Steel, where it's like, it just turns into a giant, messy fight that's gray and dull with someone with a similar power structure to Superman, and tons of property damage happens, and it just kind of ends. And there's really no breathing room. It goes from fight to fight to fight to fight to fight. It's a really big mess of a movie. For me, it ended up being like a 5 out of 10. And that's really disappointing because I really wanted to love it. I really, really wanted to love it.
5 out of 10. Okay. Well, yeah, I also really wanted to love it because there's 2 things here. I really respect James Gunn. I like his vision. I like his ideologies that he puts into his films. And I love his taste in music. I think that there are some really great needle drops here, especially towards the end. And I really like that on Spotify, he made a playlist for each character and put so much thought into that.
I like that use playlist is like Taylor Swift and like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But I do feel like I just wish there was someone there to kind of reel him in and help him refine his vision here, because I do think he just puts his arms around way too much. And I feel at the end of the day, he didn't trust Corn Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan as much to really carry this movie on their back like I think they could have. And well, is it Mr. Terrific? I do like that character.
He was good. But I think that's
yeah.
the issue. What you're saying is that's the issue of when you're the studio head.
Yeah.
And also the director. You know, you don't have anyone pulling you back from your crazy ideas. To be fair, I do think direction's messy, but I don't know how much I want to attribute to James Gunn, because I do feel, for what it's worth, I actually do think this has one of the better bookends I've seen in a superhero movie in a while. And as far as what this movie is, you know, as much as they want to deny and say it's like a standalone movie, the purpose of the movie is setting up a universe.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I mean, we saw Supergirl at the end, and that's coming out soon, I think.
Yeah, of course. Craig Gillespie, that should be exciting. I love Itanya. If this has a similar tone to like Cruella or Itanya, I think I'll end up liking it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the opening text on screen, where it's like 3 months, 3 days, 3 minutes ago, I'm like, it really locked me in. It brought me in immediately. And it just went so downhill so quickly after he gets like hit by the sun ray and everything. And then the last 10 minutes of this are so strong. The last 10 minutes of this movie, I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I really love when like Superman goes to Lex and like says what a human is, why he feels like he has a right to exist as a human. I love the kiss with Lois at the end. I love when Rick Flag is like contemplating what they've done by creating these metahumans now ruling the nature. It's a really strong ending. So it makes a statement, but I just don't think it's good at all. It's messy in everything, in every other aspect of the movie.
Yeah, I appreciate it for what it's trying to say and how it's really in a world that feels like there's no hope right now, and like there's just such a disparity between the leaders and the people. I feel like this is a film that really puts kindness first and shows like we need to just treat each other in a way with respect and with love. And I appreciate that. I feel it feels genuine to me. It doesn't feel like it's shoehorned in there. But at the same time, there's just so much going on. And if like our job here is, you know, we're reviewing this movie, and I can't say it's a successful attempt because I just think that it's way too messy. And at the end of the film, I didn't come away from it exhilarated in the way that I hoped I would. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I'm a little more generous than you. I think there is enough there that I would say I'd recommend it to most people, but I don't think it's a great film. And unfortunately, I don't think this is like the savior for superhero films, like a lot of people are saying.
Thunderbolts was better.
I agree. Thunderbolts was definitely better. And, that I have my issues with as well, but I think that film drove home its themes a bit better and didn't feel as messy.
Yeah. Thank you,
All
guys.
Right.
That was
Thanks
a
for
Superman
watching.
review.
Thank you.
We'll be back for editing next week.
Yes.